Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Have you ever wondered how you can emboss only part of a piece of paper so you have some flat spaces for stamping? Well, there are products out there now that will allow you to do that. Here are some that I bought called Easy Frames by Doris. I used a coupon, so I think I got it for about $5. You have 7 frames here. But a few years ago, I had made some out of some cereal boxes. Just took 2 pieces of cereal box, laid them on top of each other and cut a circle, and it works the same way. These work just as well as the store-bought ones. That's one of the reasons I bought the store-bought ones, so I could try. So I'm going to show you how you can make your own, and you can make some pretty cool cards. So let's get to it. You can see this one has kind of a round flat area, and the rest is embossed. It's really fun, it's really cool, and you can make some really awesome lightweight 1-layer cards that are cheap to mail and fun to create on. So you need a manual style embossing machine. I have my Big Shot. You can use a Cuttlebug or whatever you have. You need a regular embossing folder. A pattern that's got a really tight pattern works better than a sporadic one, like dots or flowers, anything that's got a lot of embossing on it. You want to center your paper in there. And the reason I made this frame, I took 2 sheets out of this pizza box from the good old Schwani man, and I cut a 3/4 inch border, very easy, with just an X-Acto knife. You could use your die cut machine if you want. Any of your spellbinders, any of your dies that you have, you could make frames with, so it's really versatile. And they work as well as the store-bought ones, so that's awesome too. So just set it on your plate, and basically I have my big thick plate, and then I just have a piece of rubber and, you know, some paper just to make it squish tight enough. You can't use both of your plexiglass plates or it's going to squish too hard. But just experiment until you get the right sandwich, and then just keep a note of that. Maybe even write it on your frame so you know what to do. And then you could tape it to the embossing folder if you're afraid that your frame's going to wiggle, but I find that it usually doesn't. And just crank it through. Now, it's not going to push really hard. It's going to crank through very easily. So if you feel like you're not getting enough embossing, just put another sheet of paper and crank it through again. But it should just give a little bit of resistance, not too much. So then, when you take out your little sandwich here, you're going to end up with your edges embossed. See that? Your edges are embossed, but the middle is flat. But it's not too wow-tastic yet, because you really can't see, because it's just, you know, indented paper. So I like to ink it up. But before I do that, I want to add a little definition to the frame. Now, one way you can do it is you could just set it on a piece of foam, and you could lay your frame on top, and you could go around it with a stylus or a bone folder, and that's fine. But I'm going to actually use a score pal because I want to have kind of like a raised ridge. So I'm just going to lay that down, and I know, and I can actually put my frame on top if I want to guide it a little better, but I know that I'm 3/4 of an inch from the edge. So I can just go ahead and do that from just kind of like eyeballing it down. Like, I haven't done a video in like a week. My kids have been home on vacation, so I'm a little rusty. It's amazing how quickly I fall out of the habit. So I'm just going around and reinforcing that frame. Very easy. And then you can leave it like that, or I actually like to ink it up, even though it kind of takes away the elegance a little bit, but I like for my effort to show. Now you can see a lot better that you've got that nice border. It's really going to show up good when I ink it. So let me grab my ink pads and my little homemade ink daubers. Let me throw a piece of scrap under there. This is, oh look, I was playing with my stamper gear. Isn't that pretty? I really need to do a video on that too. So what I'm going to do is just swipe some ink along the edges so you can see. You could use your distress inks or whatever you have. I'm not very good at the precise inking, but that's alright. I'm just going to make a very quick Christmas card here, so I'll be ready for the rush come December. I never have enough, so I like to make them throughout the year so I don't get burnt out and bored with it. Alright, you can take a little more time than that on your own, but there we've got the embossed edges. We've got the nice flat spot in the middle. So what I'm going to do is use one of my new stamp sets that I purchased at a stamping party a couple months ago. It's really fun. It's kind of a great all-occasion set because you have this cute elephant. They can either blow hearts out his nose or different things can hang from his trunk, so it's really, really fun. And I'm going to put some Christmas ornaments on there. This is just so fascinating, isn't it? And, whoa, I stamped that in red. Well, there you go. I was intending to stamp that with black, but hey, that works too. And then I always save the little paper scraps next to my paper cutter because they come in really handy for stamping sentiments. Grab a little green here and stamp Merry Christmas. And I'm going to notch cut that. And I'm just going to use some watercolor pencils to color everything because it's so quick and easy and it looks great. I also have to make sure I don't wipe my hands all through the ink on my table. Very easy. I'm just going to do a little fold there. And I'll glue that on there in a second. Now for coloring, why don't I zoom in just a little bit so you can see the coloring a little bit better. There, that's pretty good. I'm going to use my Inktense pencils. I'm going to use a little Payne's Gray and a little pink here. And very quickly, obviously, because you don't want to wait 3 hours to watch me color this. Just going to throw in some color in the shadow areas. This is Georgia-Pacific cardstock. It's very inexpensive. You can find it at Sam's Club or Walmart. It's about 2 cents a sheet. It's great for experimenting, especially when you're doing this embossing technique where it takes some trial and error before you get it just right. A little blush on the cheeks. Grab a water brush over here. Put some water in it. Yes, it's got water in it. Awesome. And I like to squeeze it out on the edge just to make sure I have all my water in there. Do my pinks first. Blend it into the gray. Whoops, that went out of the lines, not a big deal. And just basically work quickly so you don't have the a hard edge of color sitting anywhere. Remember, this is just a quick card, just an example. I'm going to color my little ornaments here, which, they're going to come out very interesting, having the red the red ink. That's not what I had intended, so that'll be a little experiment now, won't it? And just look at that. It's pretty, actually. Well, something different every once in a while isn't bad. And then I am just going to glue on a little piece of baker's twine over my strand there. Hopefully it won't make the ink run. There we go. And stick my baker's twine piece that I was so prepared I cut ahead of time. That doesn't happen very often. And just use a little foam tape to stick on my little banner that I stamped a second ago. And all I have to do is affix this to a card base, maybe add some photo corners or a button or two, and I have a very quick Christmas card. Oh, of course, my little guy needs some toenails. How does an elephant, shoot, I forgot that joke. Oh, how does an elephant hide in a jar of jelly beans? He paints his toenails? I don't know. I'm trying to recall that from a long time ago. Yeah, that's a bad joke. Okay, well, there you go. There you have it. A card made very quickly using the, what do you want to call it? Selective embossing technique. So there you go. You can make your own frames just out of cardboard from your recycling bin, or you can try these. They're really fun too. They're by Doris. They're the easy frames. They work the exact same way. They actually have the little sandwich info on the back if you have a Cuttlebug machine. If you have a different kind of machine, you're just going to have to play with it a little bit. But there you have it. It's a lot of fun to try and give it a whirl. I think you'll have a good time with that. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.